Hey, everybody, welcome to the 7 p.m. Zoom. If you've seen the link, you've seen me posted about starting your own tax business. Well, I just want to show people how to get started. I've been in the tax industry. I'm going on my fourth year now. When I first got started, I was just like you guys. I mean, I've seen it, I've heard people do taxes before, and I debated about if it would be something that I would even be interested in or even doing. Well, I made the decision to go ahead and get started in the tax business, because I had the impression that you had to be like a CPA and just a lot of things that I had that, it's not necessarily true to go out here and to compare taxes and to make a lot of money in the tax industry. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my screen. So probably just 1 second. And at any time, guys, if you can't hear me, just let me know if there's anything with the sound. Don't let me get to the end of the presentation and then, you say, oh, well, we couldn't hear you. So I just want to keep that in mind. Okay, so grow a successful tax business, learn how to learn from a team that earns six figures and never been audited, right? So like I said, I've been in this tax industry for 3 years, it's going on 4 years now. And when I first got started, I didn't know nothing about taxes outside of taking my taxes to a tax preparer and having them do my taxes. With a little bit of background about myself, I'm originally from Oklahoma. Been living in Texas, residing in Dallas for the past, 25 plus years. I'm no stranger to success. I've been, fortunate enough to go out here and earn 6, 7 figures, in the industry of network marketing. This is not a network marketing company. This is your traditional business. Well, one of the things that I'm always looking for is I'm always looking for ways to go out here to earn some extra income and have extra avenue stream. When I first got started in taxes, I know nothing about taxes whatsoever. And so when I heard people say, oh, I do taxes, I'm thinking like, man, they got a lot of work to do. I realized when I found out about it, the software does a lot of things for you. Now, what we're gonna do is show you how, you can get your tax software, establish bank products, virtual training, establish business structure, learn effective marketing strategy, professional coaching and mentoring. Now, the professional coaching and mentoring, I would say this is second to none. I mean, one thing that I'm learning in the tax industry, a lot of times people are so used to somebody, man, getting a tax class, and once they finish up the tax class, it's pretty much like, hey, you're on your own, right? Be IRS compliant, to teach you how to do contracts, Arizona mission as well. But basically, just a little bit about getting to know us. We really maintain a devoted team of seasoned tax professionals. You're talking about 15, 20 plus years of experience that you have just being part of the overall team. And really, our goal is to really just strengthen the foundation of our business partners and further the growth, because each and every single one of you that decide to join us will be one of our business partners that could go out here and we could earn some significant money this tax season. Now, just a little bit about the software. Now, the software in itself, it integrates with the tax banking software. I mean, people have the ability to be able to upload returns, do things online from an app that they have. They also be able to sign the returns from the app as well. You're going to learn that's going to be very convenient, right? Now, when you think about tax software in itself, guys, if you think about tax software, there's really four companies that does tax software. Your TaxSlayer, TaxWise, CrossLink, Drake Software. I don't know if we have any people that have done taxes before, but we're able to provide all four. Now, using both, I'm honestly going to say that I think I like TaxSlayer maybe the best, but everyone to each their own. I've used CrossLinks before, but TaxSlayer has been very simple and very easy. There's people that still like Drake. I think Drake got a lot of fees, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. And of course, TaxWise. Now, one thing that we do offer, you guys, to understand that the software that's going to be offered at the end is going to be very discounted compared to if you try to go out there and buy it on your own. The bank product integration is just simply meaning that you're integrating the bank product. And when I say bank product, it's whenever somebody files their taxes and the check is cut from the IRS, goes to the tax bank, and then of course, shoots them a check, and then you get a check. Of course, you put that in your bank account. Help you register your software conversion, installation, hardware installation, network support, right? Tech support. Now, tech support is going to be very, very key. You may not understand everything just from the Zoom, but I'm gonna break it down as much as I possibly can, and then I'm gonna kind of go over and just talk to you from a basis of, hey, if we have people that just getting started, people that's been in the industry, people that just want to help and grow their tax business, and we're talking about the EFIN, and we're talking about the P10 support, right? Now, when you think about bank products is the banking that allows you to electronically file your taxes. When somebody electronically files their taxes and their return is submitted electronically, right? So when they e-file it, submit it electronically. The bank products allows you to gather the ability to be able to collect the return that's coming directly from the IRS, and from that money that you collected on the return from the IRS, of course, that's the money that'll be utilized to pay you, right? Also, pay your preparer. You know, if they set up direct deposit, it'll get direct deposit to their bank account. If it's a check, of course, you'll send them a check or have them, come up and pick up a check. Then if you decide, depending on which level you want to come in on the taxes, it'll be the money that you utilize to pay your contractors and those for and running a business, right? Now, the bank partners that we have, of course, we got Refund Advantage, which is tremendously easy. TPG Santa Barbara and Republic Bank, the main ones that you're gonna have the ability to be able to choose from. Like I said, if you've been over here, you know about taxes, you know about the banks. If you've never done taxes before, you're gonna learn about the banks, right? So just to kind of give you a background, this last year, I made roughly close to a little bit under $400,000 in tax returns. So if you go out there, you can see, so this is from Refund Advantage. And this is just two for an example, right? So kind of give you an idea, with all my EFINs, I did over 1,600 returns. And right here, you're only looking at roughly a little bit over 400 returns. So with this EFIN, guys, an electronic filing identification number, I'll explain that a little bit later. So the one with Refund Advantage, so with the prep fees that was funded was $99,859.29, right? So with Santa Barbara, with the 185 tax preparers, so what was funded was $308,745.86. And then, of course, you could do advances. We submitted over $112,000 in advances. Now, advances is good. It takes some people like advances. It all depends. But you're talking about just after paying the contractors, after all the fees that were associated with it. Like you said, this is over 400,000 right here, but I did over $1,600 in return, and I took home over $300,000 in profit that I took home as a service bureau here doing taxes. Now think about that. That was only in 90 days, and I'm a big believer that documentation beats conversation. So there's a lot of money in the tax industry, and I plan to increase that year after year. And one of our tax contractors just wanted to show you as well too. So she got in, and she got in a little bit late. But if you see right here, she earned over $43,974 that she's earned, and here's her payouts. And these are the payouts that I was sending her of her payouts from wiring from my bank to her bank. So as you see right there, just as a contractor, just somebody that is just preparing taxes with a P10, not even a tax business owner, she's just a P10 preparer, that she went out there and earned over $40,000. And we're talking about roughly in 90 days. So I don't know about you guys, but part-time, spare time, in addition to her full-time job that she has. So a lot of you guys on this Zoom today have full-time jobs. They have other things that you guys are doing as well, right? So, well, how does it cost? What's the start to get started? So this is the cost, right? And I say that to say this, you've seen how much was made. I mean, you're talking about one return, could cover all of them just in prep fees, right? So as a contractor, it's $499. And you say, hey, Alan, what is a contractor? A contractor says, hey, you know what? I'm just getting started in taxes. I don't really want to be out there on my own. I want to sign up. I want to work for your company, right? I want to get out tax training classes, and I want to learn and use your software that's already utilized under my company, which is Allen TJ Financial, right? So as a contractor, you'll have software, you'll be able to prepare taxes, you'll be able to submit taxes as well, but you won't have the responsibilities of having to, pay out contractors or pay out person file. You'll be up under the Allen TJ Financial, and you'll be a contractor for me, and we'll work out, percentages and things of that nature. And the percentages when it comes down on the return, definitely do with experience. So that $499 is what it costs to get you started. It's going to put you in all your training classes. It's going to have your training materials. It's going to connect you to our group. So that's going to get you started, right? So when you take $499 compared to over $40,000 earned from the person last year, it's nothing. As you see, just in some of her returns alone, that she made way more than that just on her filing fees, right? Now, as an EFIN owner, now this says, hey, you know what? I want to start my own tax business. I want to be able to hire contractors. I want to have people that's filing taxes under me. I want to go out here. You may want to put you a location and a storefront. You may want to get you a virtual office, however you want to do it. You can file taxes in all 50 states, right? So as an EFIN owner, it's $999. What that does, they give you the ability to hire contractors under you. They're working, they're filing taxes up under you. You can work out whatever rate that you want to charge with your contractors. It allows you to have your own software, so then you could go ahead and give out the software. It's not branded software, but you'll have the Allen TJ financial software, tax software. It gives you the ability to tech support. Now, tech support is so huge. When I say tech support is huge, you're getting the ability to be able to call tech support with issues and problems that you have that can speak, that can assist you. Also helps your contractors as well with problems and issues that they have to leverage your efforts. I never knew how important tech support was until I got with somebody that had actual tech support. It has tax classes. So not only do you have the ability to be able to have tax classes, but your contractors will also have the ability to access tax classes as well too, right? And so that in itself, you also be able to set your own banking fees. And these are things that we'll go into details later on as an EFIN owner. Then there's co-branding. Now, co-branding gives you the ability to go out there and now own and own your own software and brand your own software. Let's say you said you want a business ABC tax firm, and then you want ABC tax software. That's your logo, that's your brand, that's your LLC. You want to brand and resell your own tax software to other EFIN users. We have the ability to do that. For some, they do want to go out there and brand their own tax software, and I can assure you that there's a lot of money in selling tax software as well. But I wanted to just put that out there and just go to some highlights, and then I want to open up and just really kind of go over some questions. But as you can see, I just want to show this is the prep fees. So as you see, like just getting started, the $499 or just say 500, just prep fees alone, $500 prep fee, $799 prep fee, $799, $100, $599, $500, $799. So you can see what the amounts that they was making, and this is weekly, guys. I pay out every week if you're a contractor that they was bringing in. These are all the payouts, right? So with that being said, I'm gonna open it up a little bit to really kind of answer your questions. Like I said, this is a tax zone. It's not really much to it. We've been doing 8-week classes on Thursday, where we'll be doing A through Z on filing taxes, not just personal taxes, but business taxes. Taxes is a great industry to be in, to put yourself in a position to earn while you learn. And then, of course, the more you learn, the more you earn. So anybody that want to get started, what you do is you'll contact me, let me know. But like I said, this is a back and forth round robin Zoom. So anybody got any questions, go ahead and ask. You can actually unmute if you want to, or you can put it in a chat. But definitely ask any questions that you have about me, that you have about taxes, and I want to be able to get your questions answered. So do anybody got any questions that they have right now?
I do.
Okay, let me turn the volume up real quick because I heard you, but you was like, let me make sure.
Can you hear me?
I could barely hear you.
Barely hear me?
I can barely hear you. Is it just me or is there anybody else who can barely hear him?
I'll come right back.
I could barely hear him too. But I had a question. What are like the average cost of us charging someone to file taxes?
Okay. So the average is if it's personal, I always tell people at least $100 to, maybe 1,000, $1,400. It just depends on what you want to do. I don't never tell somebody not to do difficult returns, but your easiest return starting off is going to be head of household and dependents, right? And we'll talk about the filing statuses and things in training. Head of household is people that may have went out there, worked just, a W-2 job, and they got dependents. Then returns, you can be done in about 10 minutes, if that. It's very simple. They got 2 or 3 returns. You're going through, getting their returns, putting the information in, and start to come data entry. The software's going to do the work for you. and you did one return, you may charge her 700, charge her 800. It just all depends on what your fees are, what you and that person agree to. You know, it's simple. So my average return, I average about $500 to $600 off of simple returns. Now, if we start to get more in detail, let's say they got a 1099, start to get more in detail with 1099 and other things, it can go up to 800, 900, $1,000. If it's a business tax return, it could be 2,000, 2,500. It just all depends. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Are you welcome?
Can you hear me a little better now?
Hear you a lot better now.
All right. Hey, quick question. So do you have many people that start out at the lowest plan and then work themselves up through the whole tax season, or?
Absolutely. Once you come in, well, not during the tax season. So where you start at is where you're going to start at for that particular tax season, right?
Okay.
Now, it could be a situation where if you did decide, we could talk about ways to, upgrade you through the tax season. But I have people that's been with me since I started. And some of them for the first time, they're starting their own tax business this year. So the first 2 years, they was contracting, and then there's a lot of them that's moving into the EFIN side of things and hiring their own contractors because it's at whatever level that you feel comfortable with. I've had people that come out and they say, hey, you know what, I'm starting out with, co-branding my own, we're all going to be a partnership. All right. So there's a lot of things on the background that I'll still be working in service because I'm a service bureau. So I'm going to be servicing, your different needs and different things along the way, no matter which level that you join in. So help you out with contracts that you'll be, submitting to your contractors, help you out with questions that you might have. So it's a very tax industry, the way that I do it is very hands-on.
And is it set up currently for full AI for you to do it online?
Oh, it's definitely set up. Everything is done on, well, I personally do everything online, right? So there's some people that like it to be desktop. Um, I like online. This is my personal, I've done both, right? But I like to be able to just take my laptop, go to my site anywhere and file somebody's return in like 10 or 15 minutes. I could be at a Starbucks, I could be at a hotel lobby, I could be at their home. It don't take long to enter in somebody's tax return. You'll see that in training. You'll be like, wow, this is simple.
Okay, and when would the training start? Say I pay the $500 next week. When would training start for that?
Well, training, if you pay this training start that Thursday, once you pay it. So we're in the middle of an 8-week class and then we'll start the classes over again. So it's almost the sooner you do it, the better because you get more classes leading up to tax season.
And you said it covers business too, right?
It covers business as well.
Nice. All right, thank you.
You will. All right, guys, what other question do you have? I mean, this is the time we just back and forth asking questions because remember, I was where you once was, 3 years ago.
Do you require LLC going into it as a contractor?
So you don't need an LLC as a contractor, right? Um, it's up to you. So like I said, it just all depends on what you do with how you handle your money. That you don't even need an LLC to put a tax name on your business. The LLC is going to mainly be for your payout purposes per se. Like if you're just a single, single owner LLC, you got options, right? You got options to, once you get your money 1099, or if you want to just file a corporate tax, you don't have to. So the LLC is not necessarily necessary, but it just all depends on how you want to structure your own business.
Yeah. I was just trying to see if you require it as far as for the banking part of it.
So the banking is up to you. I'm gonna deposit the money anywhere that you want that money deposited to. I'm gonna wire wherever you want it. It's gonna be sent there, right? I like wiring money, so I like sending it directly from my bank account to your bank account because it makes the transaction a whole lot easier and especially tracking purposes as well too. So that's how I send out the payment.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, Chad got me on this AI thing right now.
I mean, I'm telling you, AI is the future, and I can only imagine. I'm ready to kind of play around, and I got a lot of AI things that I've been playing around with. And when it comes to marketing this tax season, it's gonna be
Yeah,
very beneficial.
Chad got me on that new system he got going on. No more 9 to 5.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's definitely one. I mean, I haven't had a chance to look at it. He did message me about it. I'll check it out because I know it could definitely increase more people.
I have a question. So with coming in as the top level on the 499 one, what would be the percentage that we would get from
So
each
So that's
return?
something that'll always be a sidebar conversation because everybody's percentages is gonna be different, right? So let me explain a little bit. So if somebody came in and they never done taxes before and, they're gonna need a lot of help, right? The percentages may be, let's say the percentage might be greater than somebody that is 100% hands-off. They don't need no help, no nothing. They know all about taxes. They're ready to, work. They're good to go, right? So that's what we're saying. We're gonna vary on the percentage. It'll be something that'll be negotiated and it'll be worked out because everybody percentage don't want to be. They're not gonna be the same. But one thing I can assure you that is it'll definitely be fair. And I'm definitely not one of the people out here that you see that's taking the lion's share. So I would never ask for more percentage than the contractor, if that makes sense. Like I'm not some of these people I've seen out here that are doing like 80-20 and the contractor getting 20% and they're getting 80. I'll never be that. So my percentages would never be more than the contractor's percentage. Did that answer your question?
Yes, and it
Oh,
seems about right. What I
okay.
was thinking along the lines of what I was thinking.
Mhm. Oh, cause trust me, cause some people will have you, and this is one thing that I will say as a EFIN, as a business owner, if you hire contractors, now this is a step up. Now, it just all depends. Sometimes you'll be up working with some of your contractors, you'll be working with them, because remember, when you're hiring people as an EFIN owner, you're responsible for your contractors, and you're responsible for their returns. So you might be working on a return with them, and that's why there's a percentage, like you may be up to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, helping them out with a return. So it's parts of it, but that's, like I said, this is just kind of get you kind of a guys an idea to show you like, hey, this is what's happening, this is what we're offering, and to answer any question that you might have. Once you get into training, then you get into the meat and the potatoes. That's where you get all the details, showing how the taxes work, getting your marketing, getting your flyers and stuff done, and getting you out, hit the ground running.
And you said you pay out weekly?
So I pay out the following Friday after disbursement, right? So I try to pay out weekly, and it's easier for me and it works better. Um, because taxes are coming in all the time. And so, it works better for me because once I look at everything that posted, then I go through and I do my payroll. And so once I do my payroll, I can see, okay, this one funded, this one ain't funded yet, and then I send a spreadsheet, active spreadsheet between me and you, so that way you can see which one's funded, so you can see what you're getting paid, so you know exactly, what you're getting paid out. Plus, you have the ability to go in there and see your returns, and it depends on how great you keep up with your returns. You can say, "Where's my refund?" So you know what they're getting paid out. For example, I had a person that. So there's refunds that's still getting funded today, and so she did a return on a client, and she was telling me like, hey, the shit fund out this week, which it should fund out on the 10th. And then once it gets funded, then I submit her payment. But I told her to make sure, and kind of just kind of quizzing her. And I'm like, hey, did you ask her how much she's getting back? Because I've already looked at her return and I already seen that she owed the client that she filed owed the IRS. So instead of $3,000, her return was reduced to like 600 and something dollars. And her prep fee was $500. And then plus the other fees, bank fees and different things. So it was like 580 something. But I know that she's only gonna get back like a $50 return. And so I was just basically telling the contractor like, hey, what is the expectations? And then kind of told her to kind of look at it, make sure that she let her client know, which a client, I mean, they know they owe taxes. Like, come on, you owe the IRS. But she's still getting her prep fees because as tax preparers, the IRS is gonna get their money first if they owe. And then it comes to the tax bank, and that's why I was telling you about the tax banks. Once it hits to the tax banks, then the bank will get their fees, and then the person that prepared the taxes will get their fees, and then what's left over will be sent to the client. So did that answer your question?
Yes.
All right, perfect.
And the EFIN number, we're able to start applying for those. You said late October.
No, so EFIN, people that want to apply for the EFIN need to start applying now, right? Let me know, like, hey, we just did an EFIN class yesterday, walking people through the process of applying for the EFIN. So you want to apply for the EFIN as quickly as possible because that can take the longest, right? There was people last year that applied for the EFIN and never got the EFIN back. And if that's the case that happens, then we can work something, we'll work something out of a sidebar conversation. We could work something out if there was a chance that the EFIN didn't come back, or if there's a chance that your EFIN was not approved by the IRS, we can work something out. Now, for people that are P10 users, I mean, everybody still got to file a P10 because that's your prepared identification tax number. What'll happen is you won't apply for your P10 till around November because right now, if you went and apply for your P10, then you're going to end up paying twice because the P10
And that's what I think was the P10.
Okay.
Sorry.
As a P10, right now they're still doing 23, 24 tax season. So if you apply for it now, like I had one of my contractors just went to an EFIN user and she had about 16 contractors and she had them all go out and buy their P10 last week. Well, that's $20, but $20 times 16 people. And she's like, oh, she's gonna have to, but that's nice stuff. She's gonna cover that $20. But she did it too soon for them, right? So it's gonna be around November. Once we get the notification that they're allowing us to apply for the 2025 P10, then we'll let you guys say, hey, it's time to go ahead and apply. But don't do it yet, or you're gonna end up paying twice. You're gonna pay for it for 2024, you're not even gonna use it, and then 2025 is gonna come out and you pay again. So you don't want that to happen.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, go ahead. All right, and what other questions you guys got? All right, last chance. I mean, y'all can ask pretty much anything.
Okay, so like if we do a tax return and we need help, or we find ourselves in a spot where we're unable to continue without full knowledge of what we're doing, we just text message you or
I have a support group with a lot of preparers as well as your text message me. And like I said, we'll be working together. So I get tax questions all the time, we'll get you through. Some things, if it's something as simple as talk to support, I'll tell you, hey, contact support, right? If it's something that I know that I need to answer for you, I'll get it back to you and answer. It's not too many situations where ever so often you'll get something that's a curveball. Everybody, because nobody that does taxes, I don't care if they've been on taxes 50 years. We don't know everything, right? And so there'll be something that, hey, we may not know, we just have to find out. Like I had somebody from Vegas call me on Sunday that their mother passed away and left an estate, and they need to figure out, do they have to pay an estate tax in Vegas for a house that was paid off? And if so, is it this year or next year? Well, I don't have that answer off the top of my head, right? So I'm gonna have to go and look at Vegas tax laws and find out if they're gonna have to claim this home on their taxes next year or this year, or when does it due, right? So that's why I say, so certain things may not be an answer, a definite answer right off, because you may have to look up something. But I also will tell you, and like I tell all my contractors, stick with, and this is, okay, so it's two ways of looking at this. I personally tell people stick with simpler returns, right? Make them easy. But then at the same time, we hear from my business partners, she's like, hey, she's not gonna turn down no money, right? So it's a two-way street. It's a two-way street on that. It's whatever you decide. Some returns, if it's more difficult, guess what? It's gonna cost more. It's just as simple as that. Like if somebody's giving you three or four different businesses, they got a house and they got depreciation on this, well, guess what? That's not a simple return. That's a more complex return. So your prep fees might be $1,500, $1,800 dollars for that, because it's not a return that's going to be done in 10 minutes. It may take a day or a couple of days. Or if somebody come and they give you a whole bunch of stack of receipts, well, guess what? I'm not your bookkeeper. So we're gonna have to work these prices out, because I'm gonna have a bookkeeper come in and just organize this stuff up. So you see it as you start to prepare. But the mainly was that, I always tell people the easiest ones are the simple returns, you know. Um, Head of household, single, Mary Fallon, jointly, different things, simple returns, have you in and out in like, 5 or 10 minutes. How quick you can enter in the information is how quick your return can be done.
I had one last question. You mentioned I think you mentioned it a little bit, but doing early advances.
Mhm.
Did you mention anything on that?
So yeah, so tax advances. So I'm gonna say this. You hear everybody say tax advance or cash advance up to $9,000. It's good to have on flyers and things, but in reality, most people are not approved for a tax advance. If they are approved for the tax advance, sometimes it'll be extremely less than the amount. And it's only for like a couple of weeks before the returns. And in addition to that, you guys got to pay for every return advance. You can either, well, let me say this, all right? Because y'all gonna be doing y'all banking training. No, you're not gonna charge for the advance, but you will be charged for the tax advance. So I think it's like maybe like $75 or so in advances. So for example, there are people that went out there and ran up like $1,000, $2,000 in cash, fast cash advance fees. That of course is coming out of their prepare fee. And so you might develop a mindset of, hey, I'm not gonna pay money just so you can have your, return early. So we'll talk about that as we go. But yeah, we will be able to offer
Okay. I was just curious what that fee was because, like me personally, I have a secured credit card, so I was almost thinking about payment would hit that secured credit card and then pulling a fee on that.
well, I
If
mean, in your situation, if you got a secure card, I mean, that's just a secure card. I mean, you can get your payments and things on your um secure debit card or whatever the case may be. But people sometimes at the beginning of the tax return, they want to get their money, they want to get an advance on their return. So they submit it and it's either going to be approved or not approved on the advance. And the amount of money that they usually try to seek on an advance, they typically don't get. But every advance we get charged once it's approved, and that advance fee is like 50, 75. I think it's like $75 um, for the advance fee. So if you did that return, they got $500 advance, you're paying $75, that you've been charged by the tax bank. They get $500 of their return back, right? So it's just something, and like I said, we'll talk about that aspect once we get more into training as far as the advances. But yes, we will be able to offer tax advances to people. What other questions do you guys have? And just to kind of show you guys, if you guys can see the screen. So for this person did offer advances and see that advance fee. So she had $1,188.30 that she had to pay and just fees for the advances on the return. So it's just something to think about, right? So yeah, if she didn't
Yeah,
offer,
that would be pushed off to the customer though, wouldn't it?
no,
No.
no, that's what
So
she,
we would get the charge, but we could charge that in a fee though, couldn't we?
if we get into training,
All
technically,
right.
according to your training from the tax banks, tax preparers are not allowed to charge a customer for offering a advance. Just
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I feel you now.
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
So
got you.
so in this return, so and I've seen it bigger, so that's where I say, so she paid, let's just round up to 1,200. She paid $1,200 to have her customers, some of her customers get their money early. So that's why I say it gets to the point as you become a seasoned tax preparer, you may not want to pay money so that people can get their money a week or 2 weeks early, if that makes sense. It's not that big of a difference. But some people is like, I gotta have it now. It's like, oh, okay. So I just want you to keep that in mind because the advance is only gonna be like, a couple of weeks early that they get their money. It's not that big of a deal. In my almost 4 years, I've not offered one advance for people. It has not been an issue. And I'll offer one cash advance. I said I won't, but
Sounds good. Yeah, I get
you
you.
know what I'm saying? And just think, I mean, that's $1,200. That's $1,200. That's twelve hundred
Yeah.
dollars that she would not see. It may not think about it then, but it added up very quickly. And well, like I said, we'll talk about that when we get into other training. I don't want people,
We'll say that for another day.
we'll say that for another day. But yeah, just as you can see, the fees do add up if you're offering customers, cash advance as well.
How many returns do you think she did?
So for her, that is a good question. I'm gonna see if I can see my line right here. I wish I could see what see. I can tell you, hold on, but I can't share because it's personal information. Hold on, one quick. I'm stop sharing it for a second, and then I'll go back to I can tell you how many times that she did. But she was really good with hers, and the fact that she was actually the fees, like when she came on board from what she did last year, her fees was way cheaper. So she got way more money. I'll tell you exactly how many she did. She did 79 returns.
Okay.
Mhm.
Over the course of 90 days.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, and what I would say this as being my first year doing tax returns, I probably only made like about 16, I think it was under $20,000 my first year. Just being transparent, it's like under $20,000. But my second year, as you start to learn more, it got better. And it just keep going up from there. And like I say, you'll be connected to everybody. We're a family as well. And so it'll just keep growing. Some people come in and blow it out the water. They have a goal and they out here passing out their flyers, they out here putting billboards on the, street. They got a team that's going out putting them in apartment complexes. Because remember, you're in business for yourself, right? So however you go out there and market, it's gonna be what, what people see. I mean, so it's really up to you how you want to go out here and build your tax business, right? You may have somebody give you a shutout at church. You might have, people like, hey, I want to come up to you. Now, I will always say, don't get so caught up on your friends and family your first year because they know you. Now, some people get support from their friends and family, but most of them like, you just started taxes, you ain't about to touch my taxes, all right? But don't worry. But like I said, it's just something, just know that your business is gonna grow year after year after year after year until you have like hundreds of clients and things of that nature. Like there's some people out there that are really blowing this thing up out the water. They make a constant six figures. And some work harder than others, but it's like I said, everybody works differently, but to each their own. Is there any more questions? All right, so with that being said, get back in touch with me. Let me know, where you want to come in at. We get you started training. First, we'll get you started. Once you get paid, we'll get the contract out to you. You look the contract over, we'll talk, and then we'll get you started. Thursday's training, we'll get you connected to our group, our support group. So you'll see the hundreds of other people around the country that also filed taxes that's been with us forever, right? And so, yeah, it'll be fun. So we got a whole community, so you'll never feel alone, being a part of our team. We're not like some of these other, and I'm not really just throwing shade, but I had people come to me after they paid like $600-700 because they seen some type of tax class they offered on TikTok or something, and they went out there and had like a 1 day class, and basically at the end of it was like, all right, have a great tax season, guys, and that was it. They was on their own. No touch nobody, no questioning, no nothing, right? And so they end up coming back because, coming over here because the level of support and to have access to people as well and to help them out in their tax returns. But I want everybody to go back and enjoy your Tuesday. I'm glad you got a chance to get on. And I look forward to doing another Zoom. I don't know what day just yet, but I'll do another one as well. Get some more people on. But hopefully you guys will be transitioning to the training after this. So, all right. So everybody enjoy your night. I appreciate everybody coming out, and you guys have a great.
Thanks, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you. You have a good night as well.
You too.